The rejection happens in front of the entire pack. I, Alpha King Dominic Ashford, reject you, Aria Moon, as my fated mate. The words echo through the grand hall like a death sentence. 500 wolves watch in stunned silence as their king, the most powerful alpha in North America, publicly severs the mate bond that appeared just minutes ago. Aria feels it snap. The golden thread connecting their souls tears apart with such violence that she staggers, her hand flying to her chest where the bond used to pulse warm and certain. Now there's nothing but cold emptiness and the taste of blood in her mouth. You're not queen material, Dominic continues, his voice emotionless, his ice-blue eyes showing nothing. You're nobody. A low-ranking wolf from an irrelevant pack. The royal bloodline doesn't mix with common wolves. This bond is a mistake the moon goddess will have to forgive. Aria stands frozen in the center of the hall, wearing the second-hand dress she'd borrowed for tonight's annual summit. She'd come as part of her pack's delegation, never expecting, never even hoping, that she'd meet her mate here. And definitely not expecting her mate to be the Alpha King himself. Or that he'd reject her in front of everyone. Leave, Dominic says dismissively. Return to whatever small pack you came from. Forget this ever happened. I certainly will. Pride is all Aria has left. She lifts her chin, meets his cold gaze with fire in her hazel eyes, and speaks clearly enough for every wolf in the hall to hear. I accept your rejection, Alpha King. And I hope you remember this moment. Because one day, you're going to regret it. One day, you're going to realize what you threw away. And by then, it will be too late. She turns and walks out with her head high, ignoring the whispers, ignoring the pitying looks, ignoring the part of her soul that's screaming in agony. She makes it to the parking lot before she collapses. Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Silver Moon Chronicles. If you're new here, welcome to your new addiction. I create stories that will make you laugh, cry, and throw your phone across the room in the best way possible. Today's tale is intense. We're talking rejected mates, royal drama, pack politics, and the most satisfying revenge arc you've ever witnessed. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button now because this story is about to get wild. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when a rejected mate becomes more powerful than the king who threw her away. 3 months later, Aria stands in front of a mirror, barely recognizing herself. Gone is the shy, uncertain wolf who accepted scraps and made herself small. The woman staring back at her is different, stronger, sharper, dangerous. You ready for this? Maya asks from the doorway. Her best friend and trainer has been with her through every brutal morning workout, every lesson in pack politics, every moment of transformation. Ready as I'll ever be, Aria replies, adjusting the fitted black suit that screams power and money. Her hair, once long and always pulled back, is now cut in a sharp bob that frames her face. Her makeup is flawless, professional. She looks like she belongs in a boardroom or a throne room. She looks like someone who matters. The council meeting starts in an hour, Maya reminds her. This is it, Aria. Everything we've worked for. Everything they've worked for. 3 months of training with Maya's pack, one of the most progressive in the country. 3 months of studying pack law, politics, economics. 3 months of building alliances, making connections, proving herself to wolves who'd never even heard her name before. And now, the payoff. Alpha Kira is waiting for you, Maya says, gesturing toward the conference room. Alpha Kira of the Crescent Moon Pack, young, brilliant, and radically progressive, sits at a massive desk covered in documents. She looks up when Aria enters, and her smile is all teeth. Aria Moon. The wolf who told the Alpha King to his face that he'd regret rejecting her. You've become quite famous in certain circles. Infamous, more like, Aria says dryly. Same thing in our world. Kira gestures to a chair. I have a proposition for you. One that will change everything. But first, I need to know, are you serious about this? About taking on the Alpha King? Because what I'm offering will start a war. Aria thinks about that night. About Dominic's cold dismissal. About walking out of that hall feeling like she was worth nothing. I'm serious, she says. What's the proposition? Kira slides a folder across the desk. The council is voting on new territorial agreements today. The Alpha King has been consolidating power for years, absorbing smaller packs, forcing alliances, essentially building an empire. Most of us are sick of it, but he's too powerful to challenge directly. So challenge him indirectly, Aria says, understanding dawning. Exactly. I'm proposing a new coalition, 12 packs working together as equals instead of bowing to royal authority. We'll have economic power, political leverage, and enough wolves to make the Alpha King think twice about throwing his weight around. Kira's eyes gleam. And I want you to be the coalition's representative. Aria stares at her. Me? I'm nobody. You're the wolf who publicly rejected the Alpha King's rejection. You're the symbol of resistance against royal tyranny. And more importantly, you're smart, brave, and you have something most of us don't, a personal score to settle that will keep you motivated. Kira leans forward. Plus, and this is the beautiful part, as coalition representative, you'll have a permanent seat on the council. You'll be in every meeting. Every vote. Every decision. I'll be in the same room as Dominic, Aria realizes. Constantly. Unavoidably. Magnificently. Kira grins. Imagine his face when he realizes that the nobody he rejected is now his political equal. When he has to listen to your opinions. When he can't dismiss you or make you disappear because you have 12 packs backing you. It's perfect. It's revenge without breaking a single law. It's power earned, not given. I'm in, Aria says. What do I need to do? The council chamber is exactly as Aria remembers, massive, ornate, designed to make visitors feel small. But this time, she's not a visitor. She's a council member. Aria takes her seat at the circular table, directly across from the throne where the Alpha King sits. Around her, other pack leaders settle into their positions, some friendly, some neutral, some openly hostile. And then Dominic walks in. He's as devastatingly handsome as Aria remembers. Tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair and those ice-blue eyes that miss nothing. He wears authority like a second skin, every movement radiating power and control. He doesn't even glance her way. Of course he doesn't. To him, she was a momentary inconvenience, already forgotten. This council meeting is now in session, the councillor announces. First order of business, the proposed coalition between 12 packs seeking unified representation. Alpha Kira of Crescent Moon will present the proposal. Kira stands, professional and commanding. She outlines the coalition's goals: economic cooperation, shared resources, political unity. It's all perfectly legal, all perfectly reasonable. And it threatens everything Dominic has built. This is unprecedented, one of Dominic's allies, Alpha Marcus, objects. Multiple packs sharing representation undermines the traditional power structure. The traditional power structure, Kira counters, gives disproportionate influence to royal bloodlines and large packs while silencing smaller voices. This coalition ensures fair representation. And who would represent this coalition? Another Alpha asks. How do we know they won't abuse their position? We've selected someone with no pack loyalties to compromise her judgment, Kira says. Someone who's proven capable of standing up to even the most powerful wolves in this room. Someone who understands what it means to be underestimated and dismissed. She gestures to Aria. I present Aria Moon as the coalition's representative and new council member. The chamber erupts. Half the Alphas are shouting support, the other half shouting opposition. And Dominic has finally looked at her. Their eyes meet across the table, and Aria watches recognition dawn in his ice-blue gaze. Watches shock flicker across his carefully controlled expression. Watches something that might be anger or might be something else entirely tighten his jaw. This is absurd, Dominic says, his voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. Aria Moon is unqualified for council membership. She has no pack, no territory, no experience. She has the backing of 12 packs, Kira interrupts. She has 3 months of intensive political training. And she has the courage to speak truth to power, which is more than I can say for some members of this council who rubber stamp your every decision. Dominic's eyes flash dangerous gold. You're making a mockery of this institution. I'm making it democratic, Kira shoots back. Or is that the problem? You've gotten so used to ruling unchallenged that you've forgotten what accountability looks like. Enough, the counselor intervenes. The proposal is legal and properly submitted. We vote. All in favor of accepting the coalition and its representative? 12 hands go up. Then another. Then 3 more. 15 votes in favor. Opposed? 10 hands, including Dominic's. The coalition is accepted, the counselor announces. Aria Moon is hereby recognized as a council member with full voting rights. Welcome to the council, Miss Moon. Aria stands, meeting Dominic's furious gaze with a calm smile. Thank you, counselor. I look forward to working with all of you. She pauses, letting her words land. Even those who think I don't belong here. The message is clear, you rejected me. You called me nobody. Now watch me become somebody you can't ignore. Dominic's hands clench on the arms of his throne, but he says nothing. The war has begun. After the meeting, Aria is surrounded by well-wishers and curious alphas wanting to know more about the coalition. She handles it with grace Maya would be proud of, professional, confident, giving nothing away. But she feels Dominic's eyes on her the entire time. Watching. Assessing. Trying to figure out what game she's playing. Good. Let him wonder. That was quite the entrance, a voice says beside her. Alpha Zane of Shadow Ridge, one of the neutral votes, offers his hand. I'll admit, I didn't see that coming. The Alpha King certainly didn't. That was the idea, Aria says, shaking his hand. Bold move. You've made an enemy of the most powerful wolf in North America. He made an enemy of me first, Aria points out. I'm just evening the score. Zane's laugh is genuine. Fair enough. Well, if you need an ally on the council, Shadow Ridge is interested in hearing more about this coalition. Assuming you're accepting new members? Always. Though I should warn you, joining us means standing against the Alpha King's agenda. His agenda has been strangling independent packs for years. Maybe it's time someone stood up to him. Zane glances toward where Dominic is holding court with his allies. Just be careful. Dominic Ashford doesn't lose gracefully. Neither do I, Aria replies. After the crowd thins, Aria finds herself alone in the hallway, reviewing notes for tomorrow's session. She's so focused she doesn't hear him approach until he speaks. We need to talk. Aria looks up to find Dominic standing 3 feet away, hands in his pockets, expression carefully neutral. Up close, the mate bond's absence is a physical ache. There should be a connection humming between them, pulling them together. Instead, there's just emptiness. Alpha King, Aria says formally. If you have concerns about the coalition, you can address them during tomorrow's session. This isn't about the coalition. This is about you. What the hell are you doing, Aria? Hearing her name in his mouth sends an unwelcome shiver down her spine. She crushes the reaction ruthlessly. I'm doing my job as council representative. Same as you. Your job? Dominic's voice drops dangerously low. You orchestrated this entire thing to get back at me. Don't pretend this is about political idealism. You're right, Aria says, meeting his gaze directly. This is absolutely about you. You rejected me because I was nobody. Well, now I'm somebody. And you're going to have to deal with me whether you like it or not. I rejected you because, he stops himself, jaw clenching. Because what? Because I wasn't good enough? Because I didn't come from the right bloodline? Because the mighty Alpha King couldn't possibly have a common wolf as his queen? Aria steps closer, letting her anger show. You humiliated me in front of 500 wolves. You made me feel worthless. So forgive me if I don't care about your discomfort now. It wasn't personal. It was completely personal. Aria's voice rises before she catches herself. You looked at me, at your fated mate, the person the moon goddess chose for you, and decided I wasn't worth keeping. That's as personal as it gets, Dominic. Something flickers in his eyes, regret, maybe, or pain quickly hidden. I did what was necessary for my pack. For my position. Personal feelings can't. Can't what? Matter? Exist? God, do you even hear yourself? Aria shakes her head. I actually feel sorry for you. You're so obsessed with power and bloodlines and maintaining control that you've forgotten what it means to be a person instead of a title. She starts to walk away, but Dominic catches her wrist. The contact sends electricity through both of them, phantom echoes of the bond that should be there. He drops her hand like he's been burned. This coalition won't work, he says, recovering his composure. You're playing politics with experienced alphas who will eat you alive. You should walk away before you get hurt. Is that a threat? It's advice. From someone who's been navigating council politics since before you were born. Advice from the man who publicly rejected me? I think I'll pass. Aria adjusts her jacket. And Dominic? I'm not the scared girl you dismissed 3 months ago. I've trained with some of the best alphas in the country. I've studied pack law until I could recite it in my sleep. I know exactly what I'm doing. The question is, do you know what you've done? She walks away before he can respond, her heart pounding but her head high. Behind her, Dominic stands frozen, watching her go, his hands clenched at his sides. That night, in her hotel room, Aria finally allows herself to fall apart. She sits on the floor of the shower, hot water cascading over her, and lets the tears come. Seeing Dominic again hurts worse than she expected. The bond might be broken, but her heart apparently didn't get the memo. She'd loved him. For those few perfect minutes when the bond snapped into place, before he spoke, before he rejected her, she'd loved him with an intensity that terrified her. And he'd thrown it away like garbage. A knock on the bathroom door. Aria? You okay? Maya. Of course Maya would know she's struggling. I'm fine, Aria calls back, turning off the water. Liar. I'm ordering room service and wine. Put on pajamas. We're having a feelings talk whether you like it or not. 20 minutes later, Aria sits cross-legged on the bed in sweatpants, a glass of wine in her hand, while Maya demolishes a burger. Talk, Maya orders. How did it feel seeing him again? Terrible. Amazing. Painful. Satisfying. Aria takes a long drink. All of it at once. Is that normal? For a rejected mate bond? Probably. You're basically going through withdrawal while simultaneously confronting the person who caused it. Maya studies her. Do you regret joining the coalition? Coming here? No. God, no. That moment when he realized who I was? When I saw the shock on his face? That was everything. Aria smiles despite the pain. He called me unqualified. Said I have no experience. Like I'm still that nobody he rejected. But you're not. No. I'm not. Aria sets down her wine. Maya, thank you. For everything. For training me, believing in me, introducing me to Kira. You've given me a life I never thought I could have. You gave yourself that life. I just provided the gym and the contacts. Maya's expression turned serious. But Aria, you need to be careful. Dominic is powerful, and he doesn't like being challenged. This coalition is brilliant, but it's also dangerous. He'll push back. Let him. I'm not backing down. I know. That's what worries me. Maya hesitates. Can I ask you something? If Dominic apologized tomorrow. If he said he made a mistake and wanted to try again. What would you do? Aria opens her mouth to say she'd reject him instantly. That she'd laugh in his face. That nothing he could say would matter. But she hesitates. And that hesitation is answer enough. I don't know, she admits quietly. I want to hate him. I should hate him. But there's this part of me that still feels. The bond echo, Maya says gently. Even broken bonds leave traces. Phantom feelings that take time to fade. It doesn't mean you have to act on them. I won't. I can't. Aria pulls her knees to her chest. He made his choice. He chose power and politics and bloodlines over me. Over us. I can't forgive that, Maya. Even if part of me wants to. Then don't forgive. But don't let revenge consume you either. Use this opportunity to build something real, a coalition that actually helps wolves, politics that make a difference. Don't make it all about hurting him back. What if I want both? What if I want to help wolves and make him regret every word he said to me? Maya grins. Then multitask, babe. You're clearly good at it. They talk until late, planning strategies for the next council session, discussing which alphas might be sympathetic to the coalition, analyzing Dominic's likely moves. By the time Maya leaves, Aria feels centered again. Ready. She can do this. She can face Dominic every day, work alongside him, challenge him, and not let it destroy her. She can be strong enough to hold on to her anger and her hurt while still doing good work. She can be both the rejected mate seeking justice and the political leader building something better. She has to be. Because backing down now would prove Dominic right, that she was never strong enough to stand beside him. And she'll die before she gives him that satisfaction. The next council session starts with routine business, territorial disputes, trade agreements, boring administrative matters. Aria pays attention to all of it, taking notes, asking occasional questions that show she's done her homework. She can feel Dominic watching her, assessing every move. Good. Let him see that she's prepared. That she belongs here. Next item, the counselor announces. The Riverwood Pack has submitted a request for council arbitration. They claim the Royal Pack has been pressuring them to cede territory. The room goes quiet. Challenging the Alpha King's pack directly is bold. Dangerous. Riverwood is small and strategically positioned, Alpha Marcus, one of Dominic's allies, says dismissively. Their concerns are exaggerated. Their Alpha is here to present their case, the counselor says. Alpha Gideon of Riverwood, you have the floor. An older man stands, his weathered face showing stress and exhaustion. Thank you, counselor. For 6 months, the Royal Pack has been encroaching on our territory. Hunting in our lands without permission. Intimidating our pack members. They've made it clear they want us to either join them or move. That's a serious accusation, the counselor says, looking at Dominic. Alpha King, your response? Dominic leans back in his throne, the picture of calm authority. Riverwood's territory borders ours. Some overlap in hunting grounds is inevitable. If they have specific complaints, they should have addressed them directly with me instead of wasting the council's time. We tried, Gideon says, his voice shaking slightly. Your beta told us to accept reality and join the Royal Pack or face the consequences. He's lying, Marcus interjects. The Royal Pack doesn't threaten smaller packs. With respect, Alpha Marcus, you're not exactly an unbiased source, Aria says, speaking for the first time. Every eye in the room turns to her. Your pack has benefited significantly from alliances with the Royal Pack. Of course you'd defend them. Marcus's eyes flash wolf gold. And you're the bitter rejected mate trying to cause trouble. Your bias is just as obvious. My bias, Aria says calmly, is toward protecting smaller packs from being absorbed by larger ones. That's literally why the coalition exists. So yes, I'm biased toward fairness. Guilty as charged. A few alphas chuckle. Dominic's expression doesn't change, but his eyes narrow slightly. Alpha Gideon, Aria continues, do you have documentation of these incidents? Witnesses? Anything concrete? Gideon pulls out a folder. Yes. Dates, times, names of Royal Pack members who crossed into our territory. Statements from my pack members who were threatened. All properly documented. Aria reviews the documents, her mind racing. This is meticulously recorded, too meticulously for a small pack under pressure. Someone helped Gideon prepare this. Someone who wanted evidence against the Alpha King on the record. This is substantial, Aria says. I move that the council investigate these claims formally. Seconded, Alpha Kira says immediately. This is ridiculous, Marcus protests. The Alpha King doesn't need to defend himself against baseless accusations. They're not baseless if there's documentation, Aria interrupts. Unless you're suggesting Alpha Gideon fabricated all of this? I'm suggesting he's being manipulated by wolves with ulterior motives. Marcus glares at Aria. Wolves who want to undermine royal authority. Or, Aria counters, he's a scared alpha trying to protect his pack from being swallowed by an empire that's getting too big. Which is more likely? The room erupts in arguments. Dominic lets it go on for exactly 30 seconds before standing. The effect is immediate. Everyone falls silent. If the council wants an investigation, they'll have one, Dominic says, his voice carrying effortless command. I have nothing to hide. Review whatever evidence you want. Interview whoever you need to. You'll find the royal pack has acted within our rights. Thank you, Alpha King, the counselor says. A committee will be formed too. I'll chair it, Aria says. Dominic's eyes lock on hers. Absolutely not. You've already declared your bias. I declared my values. There's a difference. Aria stands, matching his intensity. And I'm the coalition's representative. Multiple packs in the coalition have expressed similar concerns about royal pack expansion. It's literally my job to investigate this. Your job is to be a political pawn in whatever game Kira is playing. My job, Aria cuts him off sharply, is to represent the interests of 12 packs who are tired of being pushed around. If that makes you uncomfortable, maybe you should examine why. The tension in the room is thick enough to cut. Every alpha is watching this showdown with barely concealed fascination, the rejected mate versus the Alpha King, fighting over pack politics that might actually be about something much more personal. Fine, Dominic says finally. Chair your committee. Conduct your investigation. But when you find nothing, I expect a public apology for wasting everyone's time. And when I find evidence of improper conduct, Aria replies, I expect you to respect the council's judgment and face consequences like any other alpha. We'll see, Dominic says. It's not an agreement. It's a challenge. Aria smiles. Yes. We will. After the session, Aria is pulled into an impromptu meeting with Gideon and several other small pack alphas. They pile into a conference room, all talking at once, and it takes Aria several minutes to restore order. One at a time, she says firmly. Alpha Gideon first. Thank you for speaking up, Gideon says, relief clear in his voice. I was terrified no one would take this seriously. Your documentation is solid. That helps. Aria spreads the papers across the table. But I need to know, who helped you prepare this? This level of detail requires legal knowledge most alphas don't have. Gideon exchanges glances with the other alphas. We can't say. They made us promise. Why? Because if the Alpha King finds out they're helping build a case against him, there will be retaliation. A female alpha, Teresa of Lakeside Pack, speaks up. We're all scared. The royal pack is growing too powerful. He's absorbing smaller packs, forcing alliances, building what's essentially a kingdom while the rest of us have to bow down or be crushed. That's why the coalition matters, another alpha adds. Together, we have a voice. Alone, we're nothing. Aria feels the weight of their hope. These alphas are trusting her to protect them from the most powerful wolf in North America. If she fails, they'll face consequences. Real, potentially devastating consequences. I won't let you down, she promises. We're going to investigate this properly. Document everything. Build a case that even Dominic's allies can't ignore. And if he fights back? Gideon asks quietly. Then we fight smarter. Aria meets each of their eyes. The Alpha King is used to winning through force and intimidation. So we win through law, documentation, and political maneuvering. We prove that power comes from justice, not just strength. You really think we can do this? Teresa asks. Challenge the Alpha King and win? I think we have to try, Aria says. Because if we don't, what kind of world are we building? One where might makes right? Where smaller packs have no voice? Where alphas can do whatever they want without consequences? She stands, decision made. I didn't join this coalition to play it safe. I joined to make a difference. So let's make one. The alphas leave energized, hopeful. Aria stays behind, reviewing documentation until her eyes blur. She doesn't hear the door open until a familiar voice says, "Playing hero, Aria?" She looks up to find Dominic leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, expression unreadable. "How did you get in here?" she asks. "I'm the Alpha King. I get in everywhere." He pushes off the doorframe, moving into the room with that predatory grace that makes her wolf want to submit and her pride refuse to. "What are you doing?" "Really?" "My job." "What are you doing?" "Trying to figure out if you actually care about these small packs or if this is all an elaborate revenge scheme." "Why can't it be both?" Aria challenges. "Yes, I want to make you regret rejecting me. Yes, I want you to see that I'm more than nobody. But I also actually care about these alphas. I know what it feels like to be dismissed and powerless. I'm not going to let that happen to others if I can stop it." Dominic is quiet for a long moment. "You've changed. 3 months ago, you couldn't even look me in the eye. 3 months ago, I was someone else. Someone small who accepted being treated like she didn't matter." Aria closes the folder. "You did me a favor, actually. Rejecting me forced me to become someone stronger. Someone who doesn't need a mate bond to have value." "Aria. Don't." She holds up a hand. "Whatever you're about to say, don't. We're not friends. We're not even allies. We're political opponents who happen to share a rejected mate bond. That's all. Don't pretend there's more. Is that really what you want? To be enemies?" "What I wanted," Aria says, her voice sharp with old pain, "was for you to see me as worth keeping. What I wanted was for my fated mate to choose me over politics. What I wanted was for the mate bond to actually mean something. But I don't get what I want, do I? So yes, being enemies is fine. At least then I know where we stand." Dominic flinches, actually flinches, like her words are physical blows. "I never wanted to hurt you. And yet you did. Spectacularly. In front of hundreds of witnesses." Aria grabs her bag. "If there's nothing else, Alpha King, I have work to do." She moves toward the door, but Dominic steps into her path. They're inches apart, close enough that she can see the flecks of silver in his ice-blue eyes, close enough to feel the heat radiating from his body. Close enough that the phantom bond aches with what should be there. "Move," Aria says quietly. "What if I made a mistake?" Dominic asks, his voice barely above a whisper. "What if I?" "You did make a mistake. You made it the moment you rejected me. And now you have to live with it." Aria meets his gaze steadily. "Move. Please." He does, stepping aside, and Aria walks past him without looking back. But as she leaves, she hears him say softly, "I'm sorry." She doesn't respond. Can't respond. Because if she does, she might say something she'll regret. Might admit that part of her wants to forgive him. And she can't afford that weakness. Not now. Not when she's finally becoming strong. The investigation into the Royal Pack's activities takes 2 weeks and uncovers more problems than Aria expected. 6 different small packs report similar experiences: Royal Pack members crossing territories without permission, intimidation tactics, pressure to join or be isolated. And there's a pattern: all the targeted packs control strategically valuable territory. Water sources. Forest rich with game. Mountain passes. Dominic isn't just expanding randomly. He's building an empire strategically. "This is damning," Maya says, reviewing Aria's compiled evidence. "You have witness statements, documentation, even territorial maps showing the pattern. The council can't ignore this. Dominic's allies will try, Aria says. Marcus is already calling it a witch hunt. Saying I'm fabricating evidence because I'm bitter. Are you? Bitter? Absolutely. But I'm also right. Aria highlights another section of her report. The law is clear, alphas can't pressure other packs into joining through intimidation. It violates pack sovereignty. Dominic has been breaking that law for months, maybe years. And you're going to present this to the council? Tomorrow. Full formal hearing. Aria closes her laptop. This could actually work, Maya. I could actually hold him accountable. Or he could use his considerable power and influence to make this disappear and destroy you in the process, Maya points out. Aria, I'm proud of you. You've done incredible work. But please be careful. Dominic didn't become Alpha King by playing fair. Neither did I, Aria says. I became council representative by being the rejected mate willing to fight back. Let's see who's better at playing dirty. The next morning, Aria arrives at the council chamber early to set up her presentation. She's arranging documents when she feels him before she sees him. Dominic stands in the doorway, watching her with an intensity that makes her skin prickle. Big day, he says, moving into the room. For both of us. Aria doesn't look up from her papers. Aria. We need to talk about this. We'll talk during the hearing. That's what formal proceedings are for. I'm trying to, he stops, frustrated. Can you just look at me? Please. Aria looks up, and the expression on his face stops her cold. He looks tired. Strained. Nothing like the composed Alpha King who usually dominates every room. What do you want, Dominic? I want to explain. About the territories, about my actions, about how you've been systematically building an empire while pretending to respect pack sovereignty. Aria crosses her arms. I'm listening. Explain. Dominic is quiet for a long moment. My father spent 30 years fighting to unite the packs. He believed that division made us weak, that we needed central leadership to survive in a world where humans outnumber us 1,000 to 1. When he died, he made me promise to continue his work. To build something that would protect all wolves, not just the royal pack. By forcing smaller packs to submit? Aria asks. That's protection? By creating stability. Structure. A unified force that humans can't pick apart piece by piece. Dominic's voice is passionate now. Every pack that stands alone is vulnerable. Together, under central leadership, we're strong. Under your leadership, you mean? Yes. Because I'm willing to make the hard decisions. To do what's necessary even when it's unpopular. He steps closer. Aria, you think I'm a tyrant. I understand that. But I'm trying to save our species. By threatening packs like Riverwood? By intimidating alphas who don't want to join your empire? By showing them the cost of standing alone? Dominic's eyes flash gold. Do you know how many packs have been destroyed in the last decade? How many wolves have died because they were too isolated to defend themselves? The world is changing. We adapt or we die. And everyone who doesn't agree with your vision should be forced to comply. Everyone who doesn't agree with my vision is putting their pride above survival. His voice rises before he catches himself. I'm not the villain here, Aria. I'm trying to protect our kind. Aria studies him, really looks at him for the first time since their bond shattered. And she sees it, the weight he carries, the belief that he alone can save the wolf shifters, the absolute certainty that his way is the only way. You actually believe that, she says quietly. You genuinely think you're the hero of this story. I think I'm doing what's necessary. There's a difference. No. You think the ends justify the means. That your noble goals excuse illegal methods. Aria shakes her head. That's exactly why the coalition exists, Dominic. Because alphas like you, powerful, charismatic, convinced of their own righteousness, are the most dangerous kind. You'll sacrifice freedom for security, independence for unity, and never see the cost. And you'll sacrifice security for ideology, Dominic counters. Your precious coalition is built on pretty words about sovereignty and freedom, but what happens when a pack faces a real threat? When humans discover them? When rogues attack? Your coalition of equals will fracture the moment things get hard because you have no central authority to make tough calls. Or it will survive because we've built trust and cooperation instead of fear and dominance. They stare at each other, neither willing to back down, and Aria realizes something: this isn't about rejection anymore. This is about fundamentally different visions for their world. And only one can win. The hearing starts in an hour, Aria says finally. You should prepare your defense. I don't need to defend myself. The council knows my work has made us stronger. The council knows you've broken laws to achieve your goals. That's what I'm proving today. Aria meets his gaze steadily. And Dominic? I'm going to win. Not because I hate you, but because the law is on my side. And in the end, that matters more than power. We'll see, Dominic says. It's the same thing he said before. Still not an agreement. Still a challenge. But this time, Aria sees something else in his eyes. Respect. Reluctant, frustrated respect. He leaves, and Aria takes a breath, steadying herself. This is it. The moment everything changes. She's either about to become the wolf who held the Alpha King accountable, or she's about to be destroyed by the most powerful shifter in North America. Either way, there's no turning back now. The council chamber is packed. Word of the hearing has spread through the shifter community like wildfire. Alphas from across the continent have come to watch, some supporting Aria, others backing Dominic, most just eager to see the spectacle of a rejected mate challenging the Alpha King. Aria stands at the presentation podium, her evidence organized, her argument prepared. Across from her, Dominic sits on his throne, flanked by his beta and his most loyal alphas. He looks completely unbothered, like this is a minor inconvenience rather than a threat to his power. The council recognizes Aria Moon, coalition representative, the counselor announces. You may present your findings. Aria takes a breath and begins. 3 weeks ago, Alpha Gideon of Riverwood Pack brought concerns to this council about Royal Pack encroachment on his territory. What began as one pack's complaint has revealed a systematic pattern of territorial violations and intimidation spanning at least 18 months. She projects maps onto the large screen, showing territories marked in red. These are the packs that have reported Royal Pack pressure. Notice the pattern: all control strategic resources. Water, hunting grounds, mountain passes. This isn't random expansion. This is calculated empire building. Murmurs ripple through the chamber. Even some of Dominic's allies look uncomfortable. I have documented evidence from 6 packs, Aria continues, displaying witness statements. Royal Pack members crossing territories without permission. Threats made to smaller packs. Explicit pressure to join the Royal Pack or face consequences. She pauses. This violates pack sovereignty law, Article 3. No pack may use intimidation or force to compel another pack to cede territory or autonomy. These are serious allegations, the counselor says. Alpha King, you'll have the opportunity to respond. But first, Aria, do you have concrete evidence beyond testimony? I do. Aria pulls up photographs. These are Royal Pack members photographed on Riverwood territory without permission. We have dates, times, and GPS coordinates. We also have recorded conversations where Royal Pack representatives explicitly threatened smaller packs with isolation if they didn't comply. She plays an audio recording. A male voice, Dominic's beta, Marcus confirms with a grimace, saying, the Alpha King's protection comes with expectations. You can join willingly, or you can stand alone and see how long you last. Your choice. The chamber erupts. Order, the counselor shouts. Order in this chamber. Dominic's expression hasn't changed, but Aria sees his jaw tighten. His beta leans over to whisper something, but Dominic waves him off. Alpha King, the counselor says. Your response. Dominic stands with that effortless authority that commands attention. The recordings are taken out of context. My beta was offering alliance to packs that face legitimate threats. The offer of protection is not intimidation. The offer came with threats of abandonment, Aria counters. That's coercion, not alliance. It's reality, Dominic shoots back. Smaller packs are vulnerable. I offered them strength through unity. If they choose to reject that offer and face the consequences of isolation, that's their decision. I didn't threaten them. I stated facts. You stated that they'd see how long they last without your protection. That's a threat dressed up as concern. That's an assessment of their strategic position. Dominic's composure cracks slightly. You want to talk about pack sovereignty? Fine. Let's talk about how 6 packs in the last 5 years have been destroyed because they were too proud or too isolated to accept help. Let's talk about the wolves who died because their alphas valued independence over survival. Let's talk about the packs you absorbed after they were weakened, Aria says quietly. How convenient that the packs you offered protection to happen to control exactly the resources you needed. The chamber goes silent. It's a direct accusation of predatory behavior. Dominic's eyes flash full gold. Are you accusing me of orchestrating attacks on other packs? I'm pointing out a pattern. Packs refuse your alliance. They face unexpected problems, rogue attacks, territorial disputes with your allies, economic isolation. Then suddenly your protection looks appealing. They join. You gain territory. Aria displays another map. 12 packs in 5 years, Alpha King. All following the same pattern. Correlation isn't causation. But it is suspicious, Alpha Kira interjects. Especially combined with the documented territorial violations. Other alphas are nodding now. Even some of Dominic's supporters look uncertain. Dominic's control is slipping, and he knows it. Aria can see it in the tension of his shoulders, the way his hands grip the throne's armrests. I move that the council formally censure the Alpha King, Aria says. And that all territorial acquisitions from the last 5 years be reviewed for impropriety. Seconded, Kira says immediately. This is a political hit job. Marcus stands. The coalition is using fabricated evidence to attack the Alpha King because they're threatened by his success. The evidence isn't fabricated, Alpha Zane interrupts. I've reviewed it independently. It's legitimate. The question is what we do about it. We vote, the counselor says. All in favor of formal censure and territorial review? Aria holds her breath. Hands go up. 1. 3. 7. 12. 15 votes in favor. Opposed? 8 hands, including all of Dominic's loyal allies. The motion passes, the counselor announces. Alpha King Dominic Ashford is hereby formally censured for territorial violations. All acquisitions from the past 5 years will be reviewed by an independent committee. You are ordered to cease all expansion activities pending the review's completion. The chamber erupts again, cheers from smaller packs, outrage from Dominic's supporters, excited chatter from neutral observers. Aria meets Dominic's gaze across the room. His expression is stone, but his eyes are burning with rage and something else. Something that might be hurt. She's won. Actually won. Held the Alpha King accountable. So why does victory feel hollow? After the hearing, Aria is mobbed by grateful alphas and coalition supporters. She accepts congratulations with grace, but her mind is elsewhere. She keeps seeing Dominic's face when the vote was announced. The moment his carefully constructed authority cracked just slightly. She's supposed to feel triumphant. Instead, she feels complicated. You did it, Maya says, pulling her aside. You actually held the Alpha King accountable. Do you know how huge this is? I know. Aria forces a smile. We won. Then why do you look miserable? I don't, Aria stops. It's complicated. Seeing him like that, publicly censured, his plans derailed. I wanted this. I worked for this. But now that it's happened. You feel guilty, Maya finishes. Because despite everything, some part of you still cares about him. I shouldn't. He rejected me. He's been breaking laws and building an empire. He deserves this censure. Deserving something and feeling good about delivering it are different things, Maya says gently. It's okay to have complicated feelings about your rejected mate. It's okay to feel victory and regret at the same time. Before Aria can respond, a commotion erupts near the chamber doors. Shouting. Something crashes. Then Marcus's voice, loud and furious, betrayed the king. You'll pay for this. Aria and Maya rush over to find Marcus confronting Alpha Gideon, who's backed against a wall, looking terrified. Marcus, stand down, Aria orders, pushing between them. This is council grounds. You can't threaten. This doesn't concern you, Marcus snarls. This traitor helped you build your case. He deserves to be left alone. A new voice, commanding and cold. Dominic. He appears beside them, and Marcus immediately steps back. The crowd that had gathered goes silent. Alpha King, You were just leaving, Dominic says, his voice quiet but absolutely authoritative. You're embarrassing yourself and the royal pack. Go. Now. Marcus looks like he wants to argue, but one look at Dominic's face changes his mind. He storms off, and the crowd disperses, disappointed that the drama is over. Leaving Aria, Dominic, and a shaken Gideon standing in awkward silence. Are you alright? Dominic asks Gideon, surprising everyone. Yes, Alpha King. Thank you. What Marcus did was unacceptable. You have my apology. Dominic's expression is carefully neutral. And for the record, you were right to bring your concerns to the council. I may disagree with the outcome, but you followed proper channels. That takes courage. Gideon looks stunned. Thank you, sir. Thank you. He hurries away, leaving Aria alone with Dominic. That was decent of you, she says quietly. Defending him. Apologizing. I'm not a monster, Aria. Despite what you apparently think. Dominic's voice is tired. I genuinely believe in what I'm building. But I also believe in law and order. Marcus was out of line. Your beta was also the one making threats on those recordings. I know. We're going to have a conversation about that. Dominic runs a hand through his hair, the first truly unguarded gesture she's seen from him. You're very good at this, you know. Politics. Strategy. Building coalitions. You've surprised me. Because I was supposed to be nobody? Because I underestimated you. He meets her eyes. I thought you'd slink back to whatever pack you came from and forget about me. Instead, you became a threat to everything I've built. It's impressive. Is this your way of saying you're proud of me? Maybe. Something almost like a smile crosses his face. Or maybe I'm trying to figure out how to compete with someone who's apparently just as stubborn as I am. They stand there in the empty corridor, the sounds of the dispersing council echoing around them, and for the first time since the rejection, they're just talking. Not fighting. Not performing for an audience. Just talking. Why did you really reject me? Aria asks, the question she's been holding back finally escaping. And don't give me the bloodline speech. I want the truth. Dominic is quiet for so long she thinks he won't answer. Then. Because I was afraid. Aria blinks. What? I was afraid. He looks away, jaw tight. The mate bond is absolute. Consuming. If I'd accepted you, I would have stopped being Alpha King and become just yours. Everything I've built, everything I've worked for, would have become secondary to you. And I couldn't allow that. Couldn't allow anything, even the moon goddess's will, to take precedence over my duty. So you rejected me to maintain control, Aria says, understanding dawning. I rejected you to maintain my ability to lead. To make hard decisions without being compromised by personal feelings. He looks back at her, and his eyes are haunted. I thought I was choosing duty over desire. Responsibility over selfishness. I thought I was being strong. And now? Now I think I was an idiot who threw away the one thing I'll never get back. His voice cracks slightly. You haunt me, Aria. Every day. I see you in council meetings, watch you build your coalition, listen to you argue circles around alphas 3 times your age. And I think, that could have been mine. That brilliant, fierce woman could have been my mate, my partner, my queen. And I rejected her because I was too afraid to let myself be vulnerable. Aria's throat tightens. This is what she wanted to hear 3 months ago. This is the apology, the regret, the admission that rejecting her was wrong. But it's too late. I'm not yours anymore, she says quietly. I'm not anybody's. I'm just, me. Aria. The coalition representative who happens to have a broken mate bond with the Alpha King. That's all we can be. I know. Dominic's smile is sad. But I wanted you to understand. It wasn't about you being unworthy. It was about me being too broken to accept what the moon goddess gave me. He turns to leave, then pauses. You're going to be incredible, Aria. You're already changing the council, changing how packs interact, changing everything. I'm glad, he stops himself. I'm glad the moon goddess gave you to someone, even if I was too stupid to keep you. He walks away, leaving Aria standing alone in the corridor, her heart tangled with emotions she can't name. She won today. Politically, strategically, publicly, she won. So why does it feel like she lost something too? The territorial review takes 4 weeks and confirms everything Aria suspected. 8 of Dominic's 12-pack acquisitions involve questionable circumstances. 3 packs were pressured into joining after convenient, rogue attacks that royal pack forces were mysteriously nearby to help with. 2 were economically isolated by royal pack allies until joining seemed like the only option. 3 more faced territorial disputes that miraculously resolved once they agreed to ally with Dominic. It's not technically illegal, Dominic never directly ordered the pressure. But the pattern is clear enough that even his supporters can't deny it. The council issues a formal ruling, all questionable acquisitions must be reviewed by the affected packs. Any pack that was coerced can choose to reclaim independence. Dominic's empire starts crumbling. Aria should be ecstatic. Instead, she's exhausted. You look like you haven't slept in a week, Kira observes at a coalition meeting. Are you okay? Fine. Just busy. Liar. You've been distracted since the censure hearing. What's wrong? Aria doesn't want to talk about Dominic's confession. Doesn't want to admit that his vulnerability shook her more than his rejection did. Nothing's wrong. We're winning. The coalition is growing, 3 more packs want to join. The council is actually holding Dominic accountable. Everything is going exactly as planned. Then why do you look miserable? Kira studies her. Aria, talk to me. Is this about him? No. Maybe. I don't know. Aria drops her head into her hands. He apologized. Said rejecting me was about his fear, not my worth. Said I haunt him. And now I can't stop thinking about it. Do you want to forgive him? I want to stop feeling anything about him. Aria's voice rises. I want to just hate him cleanly or not care at all. Instead, I'm stuck in this awful middle where I understand why he did it but I'm still furious that he did it. Where I want him to suffer but I also don't want him to suffer. Where I look at him and see both the man who destroyed me and the man who could have been everything. That's the mate bond echo, Kira says gently. Even broken, even rejected, the connection leaves scars. It takes time to heal. What if I don't want to heal? What if part of me wants to stay angry because it's easier than admitting I still care? Before Kira can answer, Maya bursts into the room, her face pale. Turn on the news. Now. Kira pulls up a tablet, and they watch in growing horror as a news anchor describes a massacre. 3 packs completely destroyed in coordinated attacks. Authorities are investigating, but early reports suggest rogue wolves in unprecedented numbers. Alpha King Dominic Ashford has mobilized royal pack forces to help, but the question remains, how did this happen? And could there be more attacks coming? The screen shows footage of destroyed pack lands. Bodies. Survivors in shock. Moon goddess, Aria breathes. 3 packs in one night? This is what Dominic warned about, Kira says quietly. What he's been saying for years, that divided packs are vulnerable. That we need central leadership to coordinate defense. And now he looks like he was right all along, Aria finishes, her stomach sinking. Her tablet buzzes with an emergency council summons. 30 minutes. When Aria arrives at the council chamber, the atmosphere is chaotic. Alphas are shouting, demanding answers, looking for someone to blame. Dominic stands at the center, calm despite the storm around him. When he sees Aria, something flickers in his eyes, not triumph, but something sadder. Vindication, maybe. Order, the counselor shouts. We're in emergency session to address the attacks. Alpha King, you've mobilized forces. What's the situation? Bad, Dominic says bluntly. The attacks were coordinated across 3 states. Rogue numbers we've never seen before, hundreds, possibly thousands. They're organized, well-armed, and they knew exactly which packs to hit. The ones that refused royal pack protection. The ones that stood alone. The implication hangs heavy. The packs that refused Dominic's empire building are now destroyed. Are you suggesting this is our fault? Alpha Teresa demands. That we should have submitted to your control? I'm suggesting that I offered protection and was refused. Now those packs are gone. Dominic's voice is flat. I take no pleasure in being right. But I was right. Divided, we're vulnerable. United, we're strong. And now we've paid the price for prioritizing pride over pragmatism. This is classic fear-mongering, Kira argues. Using a tragedy to justify your power grab. 3 packs are dead. Dominic roars, his control finally snapping. Hundreds of wolves slaughtered in their own territories. And you want to talk about power grabs? This is exactly what I've been trying to prevent. This is why I've been building alliances, consolidating forces, creating a unified defense structure. By coercing packs into submission. By doing whatever it takes to keep wolves alive. Dominic's eyes are blazing gold now. You want to hate me for building an empire? Fine. Hate me. But I'm the reason thousands of wolves are alive today. I'm the reason entire regions haven't been wiped out. And if that makes me a tyrant in your eyes, I'll accept that title if it means saving lives. The chamber falls silent. Even Dominic's harshest critics can't argue with the bodies. We need to organize a coordinated defense, Dominic continues, his voice returning to that authoritative calm. Every pack in this council needs to contribute forces. We need intelligence sharing, border patrols, strategic coordination. And yes, he looks directly at Aria, we need central command. Someone has to make final decisions in a crisis. Democracy is wonderful for policy debates. It's suicide in war. And you believe you should be that central command? Aria asks, finding her voice. I believe I'm the only one with the resources, experience, and willingness to make hard choices. Dominic's gaze doesn't waver. But I'm open to other suggestions. Who else in this room commands the loyalty and resources to coordinate a continental defense? Silence. Because he's right. For all his empire-building and questionable methods, Dominic is the strongest alpha. The most connected. The most prepared for exactly this scenario. I move that we grant the Alpha King temporary emergency powers, Marcus says. To coordinate defense until the rogue threat is neutralized. Seconded, another alpha says. Wait, Aria starts. All in favor? Hands shoot up. Too many hands. The vote passes before Aria can even organize opposition. The council grants Alpha King Dominic Ashford emergency powers to coordinate defense efforts, the councillor announces. These powers will be reviewed monthly and can be revoked by council vote. May the moon goddess guide us all. Dominic nods acceptance, but when he looks at Aria, there's no triumph in his eyes. Just grim determination and something that might be apology. he tried to warn them. Tried to build what he thought they needed. And now, facing actual crisis, everyone is falling back into line behind him. Everything Aria fought for, coalition independence, shared power, resistance to central authority, it all crumbles in the face of real danger. She lost. Completely. The rogues did in one night what Dominic couldn't do in months, they made the council accept his leadership out of fear. After the meeting, Aria finds herself on the roof of council building, staring out at the city lights, trying to process everything. She hears him approach but doesn't turn. "I know what you're thinking," Dominic says, standing beside her. "That I was right. That everything you fought against is now necessary. That I won." "Did you?" Aria asks. "Win? No. Because 3 packs are dead. Because hundreds of wolves I could have protected are gone. Because I was building an empire to prevent exactly this, and I failed anyway." His voice is raw. "I don't feel like I won, Aria. I feel like I lost everyone I was trying to save." Aria looks at him, really looks. And sees the weight he carries. The guilt. The bone-deep exhaustion of someone who's been fighting alone for too long. "You really believed you were protecting them," she says quietly. "All the expansion, the pressure, the empire building. You genuinely thought you were the only thing standing between wolves and extinction." "I still believe it," Dominic says. "But I also know my methods were questionable. The censure was deserved. I crossed lines I shouldn't have." "But Aria," he turns to face her fully. "I would cross them again if it meant saving lives. That's who I am. Someone who will become a monster if it means protecting my people. And I'm someone who can't accept that the ends justify the means," Aria says. "Who believes that how we achieve things matters as much as what we achieve. We're fundamentally incompatible, Dominic. Even if the rejection hadn't happened, even if we tried to make the mate bond work, we'd have torn each other apart eventually. Maybe. Or maybe we'd have balanced each other. Your idealism tempering my pragmatism. My experience grounding your passion." Dominic's smile is sad. "We'll never know now. I made sure of that. Why are you telling me this? Why now? Because tomorrow, I'm going to war. Hunting down the rogues who did this. And there's a non-zero chance I don't come back." He reaches out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and touches her cheek gently. "I wanted you to know, rejecting you is my deepest regret. Not because you were right and I was wrong about politics. But because I lost the chance to be loved by someone extraordinary. That's the price of my choices. And I'll pay it for the rest of my life." He drops his hand and turns to leave. "Dominic," Aria calls out. He stops. "Come back. From the hunt. Come back alive. Why do you care?" "Because despite everything, I still," she stops herself. "Just come back. Please." He nods once, then disappears into the shadows. And Aria stands alone on the roof, tears streaming down her face, because she's realized something terrible. She still loves him. Despite the rejection, despite the fight, despite everything, she still loves the broken Alpha King who chose duty over his mate. And she has no idea what to do about it. Dominic leaves at dawn with 50 of his best warriors. The hunt for the rogue army begins. Meanwhile, Aria throws herself into relief efforts for the destroyed packs. Survivors need shelter, food, counseling. The coalition pivots from political resistance to humanitarian aid, proving their worth in crisis. Maya coordinates volunteers. Kira manages resources. And Aria finds herself working 18-hour days, trying not to think about Dominic facing an army of rogues. 3 days into the hunt, Aria gets a call from Marcus, of all people. "We need your help," he says without preamble. "The Alpha King is injured. Badly. We're pinned down in Blackwood Forest by rogue forces. We have wounded and we can't evacuate." Aria's heart stops. "How bad?" He took a silver bullet meant for one of the younger warriors. "It's near his heart. He needs immediate medical attention or," Marcus's voice cracks. Please. I know you hate him. I know he deserves it. But he's dying, and I'm begging you. Help us. Send me your coordinates. I'm coming. Aria, it's not safe. I don't care. Send them. Now. She rallies the coalition's fastest warriors and a medical team. They reach Blackwood Forest in record time, fighting through rogue scouts to reach Dominic's position. The scene is chaos. Wounded wolves everywhere. Royal Pack warriors defending a makeshift camp against constant attacks. And in the center, Dominic lying on a stretcher, his shirt soaked in blood, his skin ashen. You came, Marcus breathes when he sees her. Thank the moon goddess. Aria pushes past him, dropping to her knees beside Dominic. His eyes are closed, his breathing shallow. The silver bullet lodged near his heart is killing him slowly, poisoning his blood. We need to extract the bullet and flush the silver from his system, the medic says. But moving him could push it deeper. And we don't have the equipment here. Then we make do with what we have, Aria says firmly. She looks at Marcus. Can you hold the perimeter? For how long? However long it takes. She meets his eyes. I'm not letting him die. Not like this. The surgery is brutal. They have to operate in a forest clearing while rogue attacks come in waves. Maya and the coalition warriors hold the line while Aria and the medic work to save Dominic's life. At one point, his eyes flutter open, unfocused with pain. Aria, he whispers. You're here. Of course I'm here, you idiot. Stop talking. Save your strength. I'm sorry. For everything. Should have, he gasps as pain cuts him off. Don't you dare die on me, Aria says fiercely, her hands covered in his blood. Don't you dare. I didn't spend 3 months learning to hate you just to lose you now. You fight, Dominic. You hear me? You fight. Why? His voice is barely audible. Why do you care? Because I'm an idiot too, Aria admits, tears streaming down her face. Because even after everything, she can't say it. Not now. Not like this. But Dominic's hand finds hers, squeezing weakly. And in his eyes, she sees understanding. The extraction takes 2 hours. They get the bullet out, flush the silver, stabilize him enough for transport. By the time they're done, Aria is covered in blood and shaking with exhaustion. But Dominic is breathing. Alive. They evacuate under cover of coalition forces. The retreat is fighting every step, but they make it to friendly territory. Dominic spends 3 days unconscious in a medical facility. Aria refuses to leave his side, ignoring Maya's insistence that she rest, ignoring council summons, ignoring everything except the steady beep of his heart monitor. When he finally wakes, the first thing he sees is Aria asleep in a chair beside his bed, her hand wrapped around his. Aria, he says, his voice rough. She jerks awake immediately. You're awake. Oh, thank God, you're awake. How do you feel? Like I was shot with silver and operated on in a forest. His attempt at a smile is weak. But alive. Because of you. Because of my medic. I just supervised. You saved my life, Dominic says. After everything I've done to you, you came when Marcus called. Why? Aria is quiet for a long moment. Then she decides, no more hiding. Because I love you, you infuriating man. Despite the rejection, despite the fights, despite fundamentally disagreeing on how to save our species, I love you. And I couldn't let you die without telling you that. Dominic stares at her like she's spoken in another language. You love me? Yes. I'm furious about it. It's completely inconvenient. But there it is. Aria stands, needing distance. You don't have to say anything. I know the bond is broken, and we're impossible, and nothing changes. I just needed you to know. She starts toward the door, but Dominic's voice stops her. I love you too. Aria freezes. I loved you from the moment the bond snapped into place, Dominic continues, struggling to sit up. I loved you when I rejected you. I loved you through every council fight. I love you now, covered in my blood, having saved my life when you had every reason to let me die. His voice breaks. I love you, Aria. And it terrifies me. Because love makes me vulnerable. Makes me human instead of king. Makes me capable of putting one person above thousands. And I don't know how to reconcile that with who I need to be. Then don't, Aria says, turning back. Don't reconcile it. Just feel it. Just be both, the king and the man. The leader and the mate. You don't have to choose. I already chose. 3 months ago. And I chose wrong. Then choose again, Aria says, her heart pounding. Choose differently. The bond is broken, but we can build something new. Not fated mates forced together, but partners who choose each other. Every day. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Dominic looks at her with such hope and fear that it breaks her heart. I don't deserve you, he says. Probably not. But I don't deserve you either. We're both stubborn, impossible, politically opposed disasters. Aria moves back to his bedside. But maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't need perfect. We just need honest. I'm the Alpha King. You're the coalition representative actively working against my policies. I know. It's going to be a nightmare. We'll fight constantly. The council will have a field day. Our political careers might implode. And you're willing to risk that? Are you? Aria challenges. Dominic is quiet. Then he makes a decision. He takes her hand and brings it to his lips, kissing her knuckles gently. Yes. I'm willing. For you, for us, I'm willing to risk everything. Aria's breath catches. Dominic. I can't undo the rejection. Can't give you back the mate bond once severed. But I can offer you this, a choice. Not fate's choice, but mine. I choose you, Aria Moon. I choose to love you, fight with you, build something with you. I choose partnership over power. I choose us. Even though it's impossible? Especially because it's impossible, Dominic says. Because easy isn't worth having. And you're worth fighting for. Aria kisses him. It's not the kiss of fated mates bound by magic. It's the kiss of two broken people choosing to fix each other. Choosing love over politics, vulnerability over control, partnership over pride. When they break apart, they're both crying. We're idiots, Aria says. Completely, Dominic agrees. The council is going to lose their minds. Let them. We'll deal with it together. Together, Dominic repeats, like he's testing the word. I like how that sounds. Outside the medical room, Maya and Marcus are watching through the window. Well, Maya says. That's going to complicate things. Understatement of the century, Marcus agrees. But he's smiling. The Alpha King in love with his political opponent. This should be interesting. Interesting doesn't begin to cover it. But as Aria and Dominic sit together, hands intertwined, choosing each other despite everything, it feels like the start of something real. Something worth the chaos it's about to unleash. The news of Aria and Dominic's relationship breaks like a bomb across the shifter community. The rejected mate and the Alpha King, together. The coalition representative and the empire builder, choosing each other. It's scandal and romance and political dynamite all wrapped into one explosive package. The council demands an emergency session. Aria and Dominic stand before them, hand in hand, facing a room full of shocked, outraged, and utterly fascinated alphas. This is unprecedented, the counselor says, trying to maintain order. The coalition representative and the Alpha King in a relationship creates massive conflicts of interest. Then I'll resign from the coalition, Aria says calmly. What? No. Kira stands. Aria, you can't. I can't serve as coalition representative while being involved with the person we're supposed to provide oversight for. That's a clear conflict. Aria looks at the assembled alphas. But I believe in what the coalition stands for. So I'll step down and let someone without personal entanglements take over. I nominate Alpha Kira as my replacement. The room erupts in argument. Dominic's hand tightens on hers. You don't have to do this, he murmurs. Yes, I do. Because if we're going to make this work, we need to do it right. No conflicts of interest. No accusations of impropriety. Clean and transparent. Then I have an announcement too, Dominic says, raising his voice to be heard. I'm implementing formal oversight of Royal Pack expansion. Every territorial acquisition will be reviewed by an independent committee. Every alliance will be publicly documented. And I'm establishing term limits on emergency. Thank you so much for experiencing this epic journey. If this story gave you all the feels, drop a comment telling me your favorite moment. And subscribe to Silver Moon Chronicles for more supernatural romance that'll keep you up all night. Until next time, stay brave, stay curious, and remember, the best way to break a curse is to face it head-on with someone who believes in you.